I'm here to ask a question. Does Serious Sam 4 have the largest map in the history of any non-flight sim video game? I think it might. It's certainly the largest map in any game without fast travel or flying. Let's define our terms here for a second. I'm just talking about static maps here, not procedurally generated ones. The map must have been built by developers, and it has to be the same map in my game as it is in yours. Obviously, it doesn't have to have been handcrafted. Most open-world video game maps are procedurally generated and then refined by developers. For context, let's look at some famously large video game map sizes. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion's map is 42 square kilometers. The huge military game Arma 3 has a map that's 270 square kilometers. Just Cause 3's map is 2,025 square kilometers. By comparison, Serious Sam 4's open-world map is approximately 17,500 square kilometers. I know that sounds crazy. It is crazy. I felt crazy while I was measuring it, but I did it anyway. The open world I'm talking about is the game's location for two different levels. You can't easily move between the areas in the first level, but I was able to confirm that they're all the same map by jumping over some walls in the second. In the first level, Sam gets access to a motorcycle, and it's really difficult to climb mountains on it. But after completing the second level's quarry fight, which you can actually skip by just walking or driving around it, the game is madness. You'll find yourself an ATV, which is more than capable of getting around the impassable cliffs that surround what's supposed to be the game's playable area. I was excited by this discovery because I assumed it would let me measure the entire map, which wound up being a pretty engrossing experience. Fortunately, the town where the final fight of the level takes place is pretty close to the middle of the map, so I was able to use its objective marker as a measuring tool. I arbitrarily named the directions and set off. The east end of the map was 71 kilometers from the midpoint. North to south was a grand total of 134 kilometers. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get a west measurement because the developers put an invisible wall in the middle of this river, preventing players from getting behind their objective. Once you get to the other side of this dam, however, the developers didn't bother to put any water in the river, let alone an invisible wall. So I was able to drive across it, through the model city, and even check out the miniature castle up on the hill. In the end, the final distance measurement going west was 61 kilometers. This means that the total area of the map is approximately 17,688 square kilometers. Sadly, this has to be approximate. The game doesn't have a compass, so I wasn't able to get exactly north, south, east, or west of the objective marker. In all likelihood, the actual map size is somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 500 square kilometers smaller than my estimation. But even in the most extreme example, the map is still north of an astonishing 15,000 square kilometers, dwarfing almost every video game map ever. Hopefully at some point I'll get a flying cheat going and we can see the map all at once, but for now, we can just marvel at the scale of what Crow Team put into the game. Especially because it's there for absolutely no reason. No buildings, no enemies, nothing to find. It's madness, but it's fascinating madness. I've been the Hidden Object Guru, thanks for coming along on this journey with me. There's more Serious Sam videos on my channel, including the hours-long drives I took to get to the edge of the world. I'll see you back here for more, but until then, au revoir.